Welcome back to Tax Tuesday. In a slight variation of our regular expat tax videos, in this series of 4 episodes, we're going to be focusing on real estate tax for non-residents. If you have a property or properties where you are collecting rental income, or if you're planning to sell your home in Canada, there are specific tax requirements and obligations. Helping us navigate the murky waters are the international tax professionals at Trowbridge. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Ruby Chouhan. Ruby helps lead the Realty Tax Division at Trowbridge. She specializes in helping non-residents navigate tax issues related to ownership of Canadian property. Ruby, welcome back to the 4th installment of Tax Tuesday's real estate episodes.
Thanks so much for having me, Alan. I'm really looking forward to this one.
So this one is a little bit different. We talked about selling the home. We talked about renting your home. In this one, we're talking about transferring your home. For example, I guess there could be like a divorce, settlement of some sort, or maybe transferring it to a child. So just to set this up again, I'm living in the UK and I'm planning on transferring my home to my daughter, right? Am I still required to submit that certificate of compliance that we talked about last week?
This is a really good question. Now, we come across situations where, parents want to transfer their share of ownership for $0, or there's a divorce settlement and there's a requirement to transfer properties between one party and another. In the eyes of the CRA, a transfer is considered a disposition of property, and therefore a certificate of compliance application is required as well. Now, it's important to note, usually in transfers, funds are not being exchanged. However, as per the Income Tax Act, the lawyer is required to hold in trust 25% of the gross proceeds of the fair market value of the transaction. So this can cause a lot of concern because that's a lot of money that a taxpayer may have to front to the real estate lawyer. So there is an option called a proposed certificate of compliance application. Essentially, when there's a firm agreement of sale or a transfer is going to happen in future, you have the option to submit the application well in advance of the closing or the final transfer date, so that the application is in processing and any request for payment of capital gains is issued, and you can pay that directly to your lawyer for the lawyer to pay the CRA.
Great. Just in terms of capital gains, so I guess it would apply potentially to a transfer, but also the sale of a home as well. How are those capital gains calculated when it comes to property?
This is a really good question because there's multiple ways to calculate capital gains, and it also considers if you filed elections. For example, there is an election called a 45-2 election that can be submitted to the CRA when the property changes in use from a principal residence to a rental property. And this election allows an additional year of deferring capital gains. So for example, if you are selling the property and it was a principal residence, you submitted a 45-2 election, then it turned into a rental property, and then you sold the property, the calculation of capital gains would consider the original purchase price. It would input the principal residence exemption plus the 45-2 election with an additional year of capital gains deferral, and it would calculate the capital gain in that manner. Now, assuming the property was purchased as a rental property from day one, then the capital gains are calculated from day one and the purchase price from there. Now, the calculation itself, it considers a number of factors. For example, selling related costs, capital improvements that you've done to the property, legal costs. All these items help lower your capital gain.
That's excellent. Thank you very much, Ruby.
Thank you so much, Alan.
And once again, thanks so much for everything that you've done for us. We've got 4 weeks of information. Thank you very much. You've been very helpful.
Thank you so much.
This is an ongoing project. For future videos, please feel free to submit your questions to us and Trowbridge by leaving a comment below. If you've submitted a question that was not answered here, there's probably a reason for that and most likely requires a full consultation. A link to Trowbridge's website is in the description, so please contact them directly. They'd love to assist. Once again, to make sure that you know when we upload a new video, hit the subscribe button and the little bell so that you get notifications. It will benefit the channel and ensure that we're able to continue doing this if you hit the like button. Thanks for watching.